Hi, this is Claire, and I'm going to tell you about the interview that I had with my friend Jared. So, Jared is a Navajo. He lives on the Navajo reservation near Page, Arizona. He served his mission in Puerto Rico, which is where I met him. We served in a couple areas together and became really good friends. Right now, he's working in Page and taking classes online from a community college. One of the first things that I asked Jared is how he likes to identify his race. And he said that first, he usually tells people that he's Native American. That's his go to. And then if they ask for more information or ask what tribe he's from, then he tells them that he's Navajo. He says he doesn't like the word Indian because to him that implies someone from India, and obviously he's not from there. I asked Jared about some of the health practices that were traditional in Navajo culture. And one that I thought was super interesting is that they're supposed to wake up in the morning and run towards the east, like towards the sunrise. And he said that this serves to wake them up in the morning and keep them from being lazy. He also talked a lot about their diet. He told me about how fry bread came from their time at Fort Sumner after the war between the Navajos and the United States government. They were only given rations of like flour, salt, and lard or something like that. And so they created fry bread, which wasn't a traditional Native American food, but now it's become a staple. And he says that that plays a pretty big role in the prevalence of diabetes among Native Americans. Other foods, he said that they emphasize eating in season, so like fruits and vegetables in the fall and winter, and then they eat more meats and stuff like that in the winter. He also talked about some other aspects of his culture that he didn't know if they were really part of being Navajo or if they came more with the geography of where he grew up. But he talked about things like having harmony with nature and appreciating livestock and valuing water. Some of the challenges that Jared thinks that he's faced because of being Navajo, the cultural and racial barriers, have a lot to do with healthcare and just kind of rumors spreading. He said that living in a border town between the reservation and the city of Page, that word spreads really fast. So if there's one small negative encounter between a Navajo and like a police officer from Page, then word spreads fast on both sides and people just develop these negative views of each other, even when there's not a lot of foundation for it. I asked if he felt a need to integrate into Western culture, and he said he did. He said that the way he sees it, if he wants to really progress in life, he needs to integrate into Western society. And that didn't seem to bother him, but he said it is a challenge to try and balance the different values and principles from both cultures because they're both important to him. He also talked about some of the health practices that kind of make interactions difficult. One being the diet of Native Americans, as well as restrictions on organ donations and blood transfusions and things like that. I asked what some of the stereotypes that he had seen in his life were, and he said that for the most part, he thinks that white people see Native Americans as impoverished and lazy and just kind of looking for a handout from the government. And he said that most of the Native Americans that he grew up with see white people as kind of rich and lazy. And he said that probably stems because they live near Lake Powell, and so most white people that come through the town of Page are there on vacation and have a houseboat on the lake and things like that. But that's just kind of how they're both seen. One of my favorite questions that I asked, one of my favorite answers that he gave, I guess, is why his culture is important to him. He said that it totally defines who he is, and it makes him unique and gives him the specific outlook that he has on life. And I really enjoyed learning from Jared about his culture and about his perspectives, and how, as a healthcare worker, I can better understand and interact with people of all different kinds of cultures.